Three, two, one, go. We are live with Edgar. Edgar. The mind says one thing and the mouth says another. Elliot. Elliot
No worries.
Rodriguez. Nice to meet you. Sorry you can't get your camera working, but the
Yeah, it's a
icons just
bummer.
fine.
Yeah.
We can do dueling icons if you want.
Yeah, whatever you like. Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I hope you've had your morning coffee or afternoon, or
Yeah.
I guess what.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
Joining us from Peru, right? You're in Peru.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
exactly right. Yeah, I'm in the capital in Lima in Peru,
Oh,
and this is where I do all of my stuff. That's where I live and hang out.
how'd you get into comics, Elliot?
Uh,
Were you a reader growing up, or is this more recent development for you?
yeah. No, I started reading it. I started getting into comics right during the Maximum Carnage storyline, like back in 93, 92,
Okay,
94.
yeah,
In
I've
that
got
in
a
that
bunch of
moment.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always known about the existence of Spider-Man because I remember even younger before that, I used to watch that old TV show, that live action TV show, and so I was always aware of Spider-Man. But then when I saw him in the comic at a grocery store, um, I picked it up and I read it and I loved it. I love the
Hmm.
action, the design of Carnage, the panel layouts, reading everything. It was just I just got hooked from that moment forward,
And how old were
and I
you
kept
then,
reading.
Elliot?
I was about I'm trying to think. I was like 8, 7, 8, 9 years
Okay,
old
okay, the
around that
sweet
time.
spot. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
great. You happened upon uh something that just totally kind of blew your mind. A comics kind of made me a reader, just
yeah,
stumbling upon them. I didn't even know they were continued like a soap opera from month to month.
yeah. That's one of the things that I enjoyed it, because back in those days, at least in the early '90s, like there
Hmm.
were other than I mean, you'd have like big event storylines like Maximum Carnage that would span a few issues, but other than
Right.
that, when that wasn't happening, you would just get your one and done story in the 22 page 24 page floppy, and then that would be it. And I enjoyed that. That stuff was great.
But you had story threads that kind of continued and
Yeah,
relationships that carried on much like a soap opera here in the States.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
um, what was your favorite? Was Spider-Man your favorite?
Yeah, Spider Man is my favorite superhero
Mhm.
IP. But oh, I'm sorry, no, I take that back. Above Spider Man is the Turtles.
Oh,
Um,
Ninja Turtles. Okay.
yeah, Ninja Turtles
Hmm.
above. Yeah, and then Spider Man would be in second, and then Batman, and then mostly Marvel. I like Marvel, a lot of Marvel stuff. But then
Yeah, I'm more of a
yeah.
Marvel guy myself too, but George Perez kind of got me hooked.
Oh
Just
yeah, yeah,
you know, just by seeing his artwork on earlier artwork in '76 on the Avengers.
man.
Um, I kind of prefer his rougher developmental style than his polished finished style. Toward the end of his career.
Yeah,
I like both. I love the new Teen Titans when he went over to DC. I followed him and
yeah,
Marv Wolfman over there,
yeah,
but uh, yeah, I always like the crossovers, the team ups, different things. And I got on Ninja Turtles very early on too with issue 2, 3, 4, and 5,
oh wow,
and then so forth. Um, in the back issue bin, and they were relatively new at that time. But I was skeptical at first. I thought, "What is this? This looks weird. It looks cool," but I probably looked at all four. But I bought the number two, and then I went back as soon as I could before somebody bought them up and bought 3, 4, and 5. Um,
nice.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were a comic until like what was it? Like maybe like 10, 15 years ago. I thought it was just strictly TV and movies, and then when I realized that they were a comic, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Started out as a comic, and really it was the 10-year run as a kid's animated cartoon that really made it big. And then of course they started licensing toys and stuff for the turtles
yeah,
very quickly. Once it was on TV, and obviously it was lightning in a
yeah,
bottle.
boom,
it
yeah.
it no nobody really goes into comics to make money, do they? I
No,
mean, big,
no, no.
big money, like $1 million, and they, they had the business sense to have a business manager that got these licensing deals and stuff, and exploit what they had done in the comics. All the comics were selling out and was popular, but that didn't put them, into superstar status till they started licensing out their property.
Yeah,
I think that's the secret, right? You
yeah,
might have
definitely.
lightning in a bottle, but how do you exploit it?
Yeah, that's true. That's very
Uh,
true. And yeah, to some detriment, though, because I remember, from stories that I've read, know that Peter was not too happy about the changes that they were making, in
mhm.
lieu of getting those deals and stuff. But it's
Yeah, I
part
think
of part of the process, I guess. Though.
about a decade ago, it might even been less than that, maybe more. I don't know. They both sold the Ninja Turtles for like
Yeah,
$14 million. Uh, I think that's right. That's
yeah,
a lot of money, for comics, I guess.
yeah. It
Uh,
is. Yeah.
and I know that Kevin Eastman, he turned around and bought Heavy Metal magazine, which I don't think worked out for him, and I would have called a bad business deal anyway. That's like buying National Lampoons if it was still going, or Mad
Yeah.
Magazine. The time for
Oh
those
yeah.
magazines has passed.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not. We're not in that age anymore. No, you
we're
can't
not
make
in
those
that
kinds of.
age where people
Yeah.
like political satire like that
Uh,
on even Mad Magazine has kind of waned, and it just kind of does specials and comes back here and there.
yeah.
But
Everybody gets offended nowadays so easily.
yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't talk anything without take a side, what's a firm stand, a firm opinion on anything, and not people get offended nowadays. It seems like in some way they might not
Yeah,
say it, but
yeah they think it.
yeah, they think it. What was some of the artists that influenced you? Did you like Mark Bagley on
Yeah.
Spider Man during
Yeah. Yeah.
Maximum Carnage and stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Definitely. Yeah,
loved his
Mark.
New Warrior stuff
Yeah.
on the New Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I love his artwork.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, if it wasn't, I grew up watching, reading a Mark Bagley Spider-Man, and for me, that's the definitive take of Spider-Man. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess definitive will probably be too strong a word, because you got Ditko and then you got Ramita that I would put up there also.
And you
But
had
yeah,
you
his
you besides Carnage, you had the Rose and Cardiac, and a bunch of characters that were kind of new to Spider-Man at that time,
yeah,
being introduced. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
and his
it was
style was great.
yeah. Are you really into Venom and Carnage? I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Venom, Carnage, the villains from back in those days.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of Doc Ock,
Yeah.
but yeah, Mark Bagley's art style was really great. Then I came across, after reading more issues, I came across X-Men, and I saw Jim Lee back then. I also saw some back issues of Spider-Man and saw Todd McFarlane, and
Hmm.
I got a hold of them. And then Todd McFarlane's artwork really messed me up because at the time, uh, like you look at George Perez and you look at Ron Lim and Bob Layton and the people from just a few years before that, and their style is
Yeah.
relatively clean,
Yeah.
relatively polished, compared to what Todd was doing at that time. And so when I saw like you were able to like do that kind of detail and that kind of line work, that completely messed me up. I was like, wow, and that has probably been one of the most influential moments of for me artistically was reading Todd McFarlane back in that time, because his stuff was just completely different. Like it was just so different from what
Hmm.
other people were doing back then, and
He
I wanted to imitate that, and I wanted to do
he
that.
was working very large, and I think even on Spawn today he works larger than normal. When you take a look at Golden Age comics back in the
Mm.
40s, the sheets, I've got a Jungle comic sheet, and it is huge. I can't even, let's see if I can do this. There we go. I mean, the dimensions of it are just huge. Um,
Yeah,
and then I've got a Dark Thorn piece that is large. The Marvel stuff was very small compared to that older stuff. I mean, the Golden Age stuff, it would blow your mind how big a sheet of paper just one page is.
Yeah.
And I know with when he started the Spider-Man title, Elliot, that he wanted more detail in that webbing, like you were saying, and so he went to a larger format. And I think he's kind of kept that ever since, even
Yeah.
with Spawn, so he can get the level of detail that he wants in there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
yeah, I guess I've seen some of your stuff. You have a book. Tell us a little bit about that you're working on.
Yeah, I'm work. It's funny because I have on a T-shirt that I wanted to show off, but I can't show it off.
Mm,
But yeah, I'm working on a comic, on my own comic. It's called The Ominous, and
about 10 pages.
yeah, right now, I have a preview. If I can share the screen,
Okay.
I have a preview. I have a preview. Here's the cover. What I'm showing right now is the cover.
Okay.
This is the
Let me
cover
bring it up.
for the 10-page preview. I'm looking. I have this book available digitally, or I had it available digitally, but I would like to this year launch an official formal campaign for
Uh-huh.
this book to get it made physically, and then hopefully get it in the hands of backers. And and yeah, it's a 10-page short story. It's like a one shot that also serves as a preview
Uh-huh.
because the idea was to just show the readers, potential readers and backers, know what kind of art they can expect with me moving forward. Because I'm working on the main story, and the main story is long. It's a long story, and it's many pages, and so I didn't want to have people waiting too long before they saw something from me. So I decided to put these two characters to fight each other as like just to have fun with the characters.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, that's completely done.
This
And
cover immediately
yeah,
brought a smile to my face. And you know why?
yeah, thank you.
Because
Yeah,
of
well,
the large proportions of the sword, which is
yeah,
very 90s, very
yeah,
90s,
yeah, yeah,
where the
definitely.
sword, like the guns of like the Punisher or the guns of Cable or the
Yeah,
swords are 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 just out of proportion big.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
over the top. That's it's comic book logic, right?
Yeah, whatever's cool. I mean, the cool factor is a big thing to lean on. No? And I would like, and I try my best to do that also because
Mhm.
it's something that I would want to read also if I had a chance to get a book. And so
Right. I mean, this is
I
your
think about
passion
that.
project. Why
Yeah,
why this particular thing? How did this come about? Did you do the story? Did you think up the
yeah,
story? What tell
yeah.
run us through the process of is this your first comic?
Yeah, yeah. This story, this whole project is a passion project of mine, and
Hmm.
it comes from my influence from a video game called Final Fantasy. Back in
Oh yeah.
'97, I played Final Fantasy VII, and the storyline for that video game was just insane. It influenced me a lot.
Hmm.
So much so that when I was around 15, I started writing and drawing ideas of what it would be like if that video game were made into a comic. And so that was the basic principle of it. And I did a bunch of sketch pages when I was young, 15, 16, 17. And as I grew older, I left that stuff behind. And then when I came back
Right.
into the indie scene, I saw that everybody was creating comics, and I thought that maybe I can participate in this also. And one of the first things that hit me in the head when I was thinking of what to do, what to draw, what IP to work on was this thing that I had stored away for so long. And so I got it. I pulled out all the pages that I had. I took a look at what I had, the characters that I had, and I polished them all up. I redesigned them,
Hmm.
and I completed the story because I had the initial ideas of a story together, but then I started writing the story out, and I got an editor to help me with the story, and the editor told me no, write everything from beginning to end. Make sure you have your complete story ready, and so then that way you know what to expect and not have any surprises. So
Hmm.
I wrote the complete story out, and I finished writing it a few months ago. I got the green light from the editor, like, okay, everything is good. Now you can start working on the first book. And so that's why I decided to start drawing it now. So the writing is done. I'm gonna take the Marvel method approach to it. I know exactly what has to happen in the story, so I'm gonna draw out the events, and then later I'll go back and fill it in with dialogue.
That's what I
Or
do. That's how
or I
I work.
can yeah, or I could like there are some scenes where I had to write dialogue first because there's just some information that I had to put out. But yeah, but so basically I'm at that stage now where I'm just drawing pages. And yeah, everything came together just from that influence many years ago, and now I see the scene. I see what Comicsgate is offering. I see what kind of art they're offering. I see
Mhm.
the level of talent out there, and so I had to make sure that my game was up to that. I mean, I may not be the best artist out there, but I'm going to try my best to put out a good, competent book. And so I think I'm at the part now. I'm at the stage now where I think I can put out that book, and so that's why I'm also going ahead with starting the pages and stuff.
Well,
And
I think you're right on track with it. I mean, first you put out a feeler like a preview I did an ash can with mine. I know Joe Sontag did an ash can with his. We lost him. He'll be back, I'm sure, come back in. But I think it's very smart to try before you buy, and give people, if you've got it. It looks like he's doing full color, uh, smaller, page count book. There's nothing wrong with that. And then of course you do development pages, fan art, all types of things. I was saying that Joe Sontag did something similar, and I did an
yeah,
ash can. I kind of like that try before you buy and give
yeah,
people a preview and see the quality of your art. I take it this is all going to be in full color, or is it going to be in black and
yeah.
white?
No, everything's full color.
Because I'm not
Yeah,
afraid of black and white. You know what really stood out? You mentioned the Ninja Turtles. Um, and I love the grayscaling on that because there was in the 80s a glut of black and white, and I say a glut. I just say that there was a kind of a black and white uh, wave come into comics,
yeah,
and that and of course the direct market and the where they sold comics just at comic book stores, and
yeah. That messed a lot of things up, man. Ugh.
it did. Yeah. I mean, you cannot, like you and I, discover
Mhm.
Spider Man on a spinner rack, on a shelf,
Yeah,
and go, wow, what is this? This is changing my life. You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
do that anymore at random. Uh,
That's
you
very
know,
true.
we would get the little digests, we get the treasury size editions, big
Yeah,
occasionally, and that was something special.
yeah. You
Sometimes
get
I'd buy them, sometimes I wouldn't, but
Yeah, I remember I would see Wizard up there also. Wizard had a big
yeah,
impact also
Wizard,
too.
especially in the 90s. And with Wizard, it was came polybagged with sometimes other comics or
Yeah,
DVDs or, CDs, I mean, or all kinds of free stuff, trading cards. That was all always kind of neat, right? And then you got a
yeah,
price guide too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the back to see how much your comics were worth. Yeah, and you would always check to see did I make any money this month?
Yeah.
I
Well,
remember
I don't know if you can go by that. I think comics
that.
are a long-term investment, but I bought in 97 and was fortunate enough to get a newsstand uh first appearance of Harley Quinn, which was
Yeah.
about 1% of the run at that time, print run at the time.
Oh
Most
man.
of them came out direct to the comic book stores. Just the comic I suffered a fire in 97, burned up my
Oh.
first collection of about 16,000, I guesstimate, books. But what really hurt was when the one of a kind original artwork that I bought up in Chicago and other places, or
Man,
had commissioned, you know, by
man, that
by
sucks.
artists. Yeah, I mean, I had the John Byrne Avenger heads that's always in the little
Oh.
box. I had that sheet. I had a DC Comics presents page that was done by Jim Starlin. Just that stuff's irreplaceable. I had a nice
Yeah,
Aztec
yeah.
Ace page done by Dan Day. I think it was Dan Day. Um, Beautiful stuff, man. I had a Steve Lytle page. I can't even remember of all the pages. I just had a short stack, but what I had, I liked. I had a
Yeah.
Titans page by Steve Lytle, and he's passed away now. And man, he had some gorgeous stuff. I mean, he made Starfire Are you in Team Raven or do you like Starfire? Or does it matter to you? I like them
Uh,
both.
yeah, I like them both. Also, yeah, Starfire's got her qualities, and Raven
Yeah.
does also. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing we were talking about this the other day, my co-host Shadowhawk, and
Ah,
you
nice.
probably know Shadowhawk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Shadowhawk. What's
we
going on,
we
man?
were we were talking about there was always seemed to be a romance, with Kid Flash or
Yeah,
Changeling or Dick Grayson. They all kind of came of age and kind of grew up from the little kid Titans that had come before. Dr. Mask, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in
yeah.
a
Great to
while.
see you, Dr. Mass. What's going on, man?
I
Let
think
me get me.
manga may have made black and white
Yeah,
more acceptable.
I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
But I mean, during the 80s, I loved the black and white stuff because it was smaller print run like Arrow Comics, Randy Zimmerman and others like that. That didn't even make it and aren't still going like Randy. But um, he's got a story where George Perez was and I apologize for saying it
Yeah.
American version Perez instead of what it really is, but that's just what I've always called him. In fact, I got to meet him in 1986, I guess it was. I think that was the year I met Steve Lytle too. Um,
Well,
I've met some. I'm fortunate to have met some people back in the day when they were just getting started. Uh, it was a lot of fun. It was more about the comics and creators back then than what it
yeah.
is today. Now it's about the Netflix deal, the TV deal, the celebrity part of it, and it really should be about the artwork and telling a story, basically, right? What I
Yeah,
say
I
is
agree.
the art will grab you,
Hmm.
the story will keep you.
Yeah, that's the general sentiment. Yeah, and I'm 100% on board with that. Yeah, that's how it worked for me. I mean, I kept coming back because the story was great. The visuals are also great, and so it was just easy to fall in love with the art.
Are you self-taught or
Silvestri.
did you have some graphic formal training
No,
in
no, I'm
in
100% self-taught. Like,
are you?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 100% self-taught. Back in those days, I would grab the comics and then on a regular piece of copy paper, at first I would trace some of the characters, but then after a while, I stopped tracing and I would start to like imitate to copy, to copy
Mhm.
some cool poses that I would see, and then later I would try to like draw them. By memory, through memory, and then sometimes I'd get it, sometimes I wouldn't get it, but yeah, I mean, just that and just to continue practicing. And then recently, for example, I started picking up inking not too long ago. Like, well,
Yeah,
now it's
that's
like
where it
5 years
really
ago.
comes to life.
Yeah, and the inking was a whole nother thing to learn because that's
Mhm.
it's completely different from just penciling. Yeah.
I'll show you what I did on topic list last night. I mentioned to them that you were going to come on.
Sweet.
And Jason
Yeah, those guys are
Bascom
great.
and Death Metal Hero said, "Oh, you'll really like Elliot. Been
Yeah,
on
they're great.
auctions and other things with you, and they had high praise for your artwork." And I'm
Oh,
like,
thank you.
"Yeah, I'm very honored to finally get you on here and
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't.
talk to you." So I did a
Yeah.
Cortex last
Oh,
night.
that's dope.
He's kind of like a living brain in an android body, but this is just the
Nice.
brain part of him. This kind of character, it doesn't look true because my camera takes the red spectrum and kind of turns it purple. But it's
Oh, okay,
it's
I got you.
fairly on, this is going to be a
Yeah,
trading card that I'm going to offer here
correct.
pretty soon
For
on
from
the
sorry for flying. Yeah,
yeah.
from Devil Player.
I'm going to renew my campaign in March. We got a hard date now. I know Shadowhawk. Sorry about that.
Sweet.
He doesn't like my sweat, but we're going to do a momentum makeover. Momentum Comics is sort of my thing.
Yeah.
What is your thing that you've come up with?
No,
Is it
I don't have
you don't?
a label like that
Okay,
just yet. I think I haven't like a name hasn't hit me yet. I was thinking like
right.
Ominous Comics or Elliot, no, but I don't know.
Ominous. That's cool.
If something hits me, then I'll add it to it. But for the moment, it's just under Elliot Rodriguez art, and
Were
then
your
that's
comics
what I
that
got.
you bought there? I mean, did you grew up in Peru, right?
No, I grew up in the States.
Oh, you grew up in the States.
Yeah,
Okay. So the
I
comics you
lived.
bought were in English.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay. So when did you move down to Peru?
about what is it now? Like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I wanted to find out where I'm from, learn more about myself, and then see what I can do with education, because it was really difficult for me to get an
Mhm.
education in the States, because I don't have to tell you, but it's super expensive over there
Oh yeah, yeah.
to get a proper education. But here I was able to get everything done, and, and then I met my wife, and so I just stuck around.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Dr. Mass says Elliot is talented and a good guy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mask. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, likewise. Likewise.
Yeah, yeah. So Batman ranks right up there, but if you eliminate
Yeah.
Batman on DC Comics, what are some other characters that really spoke to you back in the
Yeah,
day?
Superman. Superman. I
Okay.
don't know why he get so much flack, but no, I love Superman. I love what he represents. The old, at least not new iterations of him, but the old stuff from Superman was great.
Mhm.
I had Superman PJs back when I was a kid, and yeah,
Maybe
he was.
you were right in there with the death of Superman and then his
Yeah,
resurrection and all that. Yeah.
yeah. And I remember when everybody freaked out when they gave him that electric blue makeover suit. Man, everybody
I
was
guess
freaking.
you bought that Todd McFarlane Spider-Man title. He drew about the first
Yeah,
16 issues of
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
and they had like a silver or a platinum version. They had a regular
yeah,
version.
yeah,
They
yeah,
the Death of Superman came polybagged. They
yeah.
had
That
a
was nice.
polybag version.
Yeah, yeah,
You probably like those trick covers, right? The flip books and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah. The
that.
flip books, and then
Yeah.
they had the chrome, the hollow foil, and they had yeah, they had a lot of great stuff back then. I'm glad that that stuff didn't die out. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
it's not being made by Marvel anymore, but I'm glad that there's people out there still doing that stuff. It's great. It's
Oh
great.
yeah,
It takes
yeah.
me back.
I love the acetate covers too. I don't know if you ever Marvels did that with Alex Ross's early work. They had the clear mylar sheet
Yeah,
over.
that I'm not too big of a fan on. I think the EVS did something like that with Dale Keown's art. I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
like it.
did.
I
Yeah,
like it, but I would much rather prefer the like a chrome cover, or
I
just the
really
cover
like that
itself.
hollow foil that sort of looks rainbow,
Yeah,
like
that hollow
almost
foil looks nice.
like oil and water slick.
Yeah,
I
that
really
stuff is
love that.
great.
That's probably my favorite.
Yeah,
The chromium covers were nice, but and the lenticular covers that were like
yeah.
flicker rings or something,
Yeah,
they'd
I love
move.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's
Uh,
expensive. Glow in the dark is one of my favorite. Yeah,
Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, and I remember
they're
the
expensive to
trading
do.
cards, the the Marvel masterpiece artwork from back in those times. And I keep thinking of what Adam Miller recently did with his trading cards. It was great stuff, man. Great stuff. It's great to see that those things continue on, that it doesn't die out. It's great to see that stuff.
What were some of your favorite uh writers? I mean, I guess it was the Spider-Man stuff. And did you even
Yeah,
pay attention to that? Who was doing
not
what?
really,
The inker,
not
or
really.
you just
I
kind of
didn't.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the first writer I was like aware of was Garth Ennis when he did
Okay.
Darkness with
Uh,
Silvestri, because I really
oh
liked that
yeah.
too.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, who did this? And that was like probably the first time I was aware of like any writer name. But then Peter David on Hulk,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and then Claremont was on
Did I guess you like the Del
X
Keown
Men.
stuff, right?
Yeah, I love Dale Keown.
Mark Farmer was great too. I think it's
Yeah,
Mark
man.
Farmer. Um,
Yeah, I keep tripping out every time I see that Dale Keown is following me on Twitter. I keep tripping out on that. I got that. I got a screenshot of that. I keep looking at it. I was like, man, I can't believe this is this is happening. That's the magic of the internet. You get to interact and meet with all of these tremendous talents out there. And not just Dale, no, but Shane, EVS, John Malin, who did
mhm.
so much work with Cable, all that work with Cable and stuff, and Thunderbolts. And great stuff, man. Great stuff to be able to talk with those guys and pick their brains also. No?
Oh yeah. I mean, whether you get to meet them or not,
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like on the internet and stuff like that.
yeah, even on the
Yeah,
internet, it's great to even, even if you're just in chat and they respond to
yeah,
you and all like that and carry on
yeah. Sweet.
conversation. I've kind of done that a little on eBay with
Yeah,
certain creators, bumped into certain people. on eBay at
Sweet.
various times. I'll be selling something or say something, and they'll. I attributed Bob Badansky that used to draw Ghost Rider in the 90s, 80s and 90s maybe. I attributed something to him, and he said, "No, that's Gil Kane." It was like a little
Mhm.
bullet, that they put on the cover of him
Yeah.
on the bike and stuff. And I just assumed since he's doing the whole thing that he did that as well. And he said, "No, that was Gil Kane." I said, "Oh, Bob, it's great to talk to you." And Burkholder, hey, Burkholder in the house.
What's going on, Brett Holder?
Yeah, this is not our regular time. Usually,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, you're in Peru, and it's uh, different, slightly different for you. And
Yeah.
I mean, you're a family guy. You got obligations, and
Yeah,
what
definitely.
would you say is an average work day? How much time are you devoting to this?
Oh,
Right,
for art, I
because I know you
do.
do a
What
lot
is
of
it?
commission stuff.
Yeah, I used to. I used to. I think.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm trying not to do too many commissions now because every time I do one, then it's like time taken away from my comics. So I
your
try not to
IP,
do this.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, normally I draw. I'd say like 2 or 3 hours a day, not too much.
Okay,
I have a little bit of time in the morning. Like for example, right now, if I were not doing this stream, I would probably be drawing a little bit,
yeah. Blame
or a
me.
few hours earlier. No, I wasn't trying to. No, I wasn't going that. I wasn't going in that direction with that. No, but yeah, I use my morning time
Hey, I double down
to
on
do stuff.
stupid, and if you don't know that by now, but yeah, we will miss you later today. We're having our 1,000th episode
Yeah,
today.
congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Congratulations on 1,000
we're
episodes. That's
we're
not a
gonna have
small
an
feat,
all-star
man.
cast. I don't know exactly who. We've got a few
Man,
people that have accepted, so everybody
sweet.
will just have to show up to see who shows up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And congratulations.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's a commitment, to do a
Yeah,
daily show. There's probably not that many in this realm that do daily
no.
shows every day. It's
Yeah, there
kind of
used to be
enough.
some great shows, but then some people have fallen off, or have
Yeah.
stopped making shows, and it sucks when it happens though. But like I'm in that boat too. Like I had the show in the morning last year, but then I
Oh
had to
yeah.
cut that so I can work on my comic. But now
Right.
I'm gonna come back with it and do some more draw streams.
It's
And
definitely a
while I get
commitment,
the
but
kids, yeah,
that's part of the crowdfunding thing, right?
mm,
Is promotion and getting out there and
yeah,
getting known. I've seen you in
yeah,
the chats, and you seemed a very accessible guy, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and uh, I may have even seen you on a stream or two.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I have kind of sort of more focused. Don't go in as many chats, watch as many channels as I did, and just, I mean, it's enough just to do my thing,
Yeah.
just about. When I can get out and about and be on the internet, I'm sitting here anyway, and see who's streaming and go in and say hi. I try and do that, and some I may watch, and some I may go on like topic lists on a regular basis. Um, but and then
No, definitely.
recently with Omer Glitch on the Hump Day show on Wednesdays, which will be tonight. I was on topic list drawing last night, and I'll be on his show tonight drawing. So, that's when I get
Sweet.
my drawing time in. Sometimes it's just,
Sweet. Hey, what's
uh,
going on? What's up, Peter?
it's
Good to
good to
see you,
see you.
man.
Peter did a Devil Flyer piece for me, and it
Sweet.
may wind up being the back cover. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll wind up to being something. Uh,
Sweet.
but
Yeah, he
Peter
does
did.
great work. Also, I love Peter's energy. Like the energy in his art, really great stuff, man. It's visceral, really, really in
Oh
there.
yeah, it's got a lot of energy to it.
Yeah, yeah.
He wants my pizza rounds though. You seen him work on pizza rounds?
Yeah, I've seen some. Yeah, he does art on everything. Like, he does.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not just
Well,
paper. He just does art on everything. Yeah, good
I've
stuff,
been
man.
doing some cardboard pieces too. This is one I've got going, but not finished yet. And it's
Mm,
just basically the back of the pad,
Sweet.
But I didn't want this to, and I'm actually using the back of the cover, because it's good quality paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Everybody that backs my project gets a uh, what is it, a 4 by 6 drawing, and
Nice.
of artwork like I did last night on Topicless. I've recently been doing them in color, which Omer does most of his stuff in color, and that's just another level.
Yeah,
When it comes to a comic, you got it. You kind of take it for granted, but it's really a daunting task, isn't it? You got your plot, your story, your pencils, your inks, your lettering, your
yeah.
your coloring if it's going to be in color. Uh, so
Yeah, that
there's
that
a
was that was I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was one
right.
of the reasons also why I went ahead and did this 10-page preview, because I wanted to see what that process was like from beginning to end. Like, I hear so much about it, but I was like, no, let me do this, and I did the pages. Then I sent it off to the colorist. Then you had to wait on the colorist, and then I sent it to the letterer. Then there's adjustments that you have to make with the lettering, the placement of the
Mhm.
balloons, and everything. It's a big undertaking. It's a
I
great
know with
undertaking
Reaper
to get it done.
Destroyer, Joe Sontag sent,
Yeah,
got like 4 different prototypes for the coloring because
yeah,
he sent it back to the printers, and that ain't cheap. I think about $2,000 per
man.
pop with that to get that adjusted. I don't know, but now he did some bank on that campaign. It's amazing the money,
Yeah,
but it's a drop in the bucket when you consider the corporate level stuff. Are you kind
yeah,
of
that's true.
disappointed with the wokeness of some of the comics in the
Very.
last few years?
Yeah, yeah, very, very. I'm not a fan of that stuff at all. And yeah, and I mean, when I was young, like, one of my hopes and dreams was to one day work for Marvel or DC. But then growing
Right.
up, coming back into the comic scene and seeing how things were, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And then after actually drawing pages and see how much work it takes to pencil this in, to figure out the layouts, the composition, to get these pages inked, also after seeing all this work, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do all this work so that at the end of the day, like, other people take credit for the work that I do, or to have it twisted in the way that I didn't intend it
Mhm.
to, or used in the way that I didn't intend it to, because that also happens with these corporations. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And when I saw that there was a possibility of you creating something, you controlling it, and you reaping the rewards for it, now I was 100% on board with that. And also, which is why I'm doing my own comic, because I would much rather put the effort towards my own thing than to work for these corporations that have completely
Oh
deviated
yeah, yeah.
from what from what I remember back in the day. No.
I mean, people were probably, at auctions that we do online and stuff like that, would love to see me do Batman, Spider-Man, and like that. But I'm one of
Yeah.
those creators that I've never been interested in that, Elliot. I want to draw
Yeah.
my characters and
Mm.
develop new characters, and and work on my own IP stuff.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
want to use my imagination, and
Mm.
I don't want to do derivative characters. I want to, come up with, and I've got to admit, this kind of came from What If story, the Cortex brain type thing. There's a couple examples of brain like characters, so it's not like reinventing the wheel, but I put
Yeah.
my own particular spin on it. I don't know that there's anything new under the sun, but you try and be innovative if you're really trying. I think
That's true. Yeah, that's
you
very
know.
true.
Um, I mean, this woke thing has really hurt comics. I think, yeah,
Yeah, it
especially
has.
Marvel and DC.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people are trying to. I mean, their logic is that they're trying to change things and then making it grander, or opening the doors for other people to also get interested in the comics. But in doing so, they're completely ignoring the people that have been faithful to comics for all these years, and it's horrible. It's horrible that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, to devote hell, Apex Comics, by the way. It's good to
Apex,
see
what's
you,
up,
brother.
man?
Um, Man, I've been co-hosting with him for over 3 years. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got started, and he challenged me to put up content on my own channel, and here we are. So, uh,
Sweet.
sometimes you just need a little shove, a little push
Yeah.
to get
Here's
started.
I have a fun fact about Apex. We worked together on an IP that, to this day, has not has not been launched. Apex is going to remember Tales of Zero, and
Ah,
he did a cover for that, a double page spread cover, a wraparound cover for that, and I did a cover for that, and we have not seen that comic book come to fruition at all. And that was also from many years ago. Yeah, yeah. Apex is awesome. That's where I first met Apex on that project.
well,
Great stuff.
you know, I did. I'm really, you know, it makes me smile inside that say that you kind of you thumbnail things out, sort of storyboard it, and
Yeah,
then draw it.
yeah. I'm in it. I'm so
Mhm.
upset that my camera's not working. I can show you my process, but
Okay. But
because yeah, I
well, I
have
did this. I did the same thing with the Devil Flyer story, but I'm not one of those to put dialogue. You know, I had another artist draw it, another my neighbor down here. He's a great
mm,
designer, and he drew the Devil Flyer story a couple of years ago. And I found out I didn't want to put dialogue in mouths that were closed. That's the one thing that
mm.
kind of got me. You know, so I kind of worked around. You know, the mouth thing. You know, if
Yeah,
if if their back was turned or if they it was at a distance or they kind of looked like they had part of their mouth open or something in expression, and I put dialogue. If they had a closed mouth, I didn't put dialogue in there, you know.
yeah,
um
definitely. Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly the same process I take. Like I thumbnail everything out,
mhm.
because I want to know. I want to make sure how I want to make sure what it is I want to draw before I get down to draw it. Like I want to know
The
where the
different
character's going to be.
the
Yeah,
different angles and things like that. I That's why I like Bishima's work. You know, the just the cinematic, you know, the worm's eye view, the looking up, the looking
yeah,
down, the crane shot, you know. I think that film and television and games, like you were saying, gaming has had an effect on artists, you know, on how
yeah.
we kind of perceive comics and do
That's very
comics
true.
now.
That's
And
very true.
I mean, there is a science to it, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's that Z thing, that people always keep saying that you have to guide the reader's eye from left to right, and then top to bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and then so the art has to follow that. And the word balloons, everything has to follow that Z shape. And and yeah, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Yes, tells a zero from Purple Smurf 13.
Yeah.
Where are the books?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Omar.
definitely. Yeah, it happens. Like, I mean, people come in and people leave, and people drop off. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever get mad at anybody when those things happen, because we are not corporate comics. We are indie comics. We are
Mm-hmm.
people that have jobs. We have people that do this as a hobby,
Right.
and there's always going to be things that could interrupt. And so we just have to understand that, going into the whole thing. No, like I'm gonna pay $25 to a guy who is not 100% dedicated to it, and then something could happen. There could be an emergency. Life changes in the blink of an eye. You have no idea. Like, I mean, you could be doing one thing and then something would happen, and then your whole world is turned upside down. And so yeah, so I mean, we're working with people like that, so we have to be aware of that. I think, because I mean, I've worked with colorists, with inkers, and things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
These projects have been proposed and have fallen, and it's okay. I mean, things like that happen. So
It's
roll with
quite
the
a
punches, I
commitment,
guess. Man.
though, especially with
Yeah, it
some of
is.
these bigger projects, right?
Yeah, it
Or
is. It
multiple
is.
issue projects.
Yeah, definitely,
To get a commitment,
definitely.
a firm commitment for somebody to stick with it for, say, 52 pages or whatever the length, even a 48 pager, you know, a lot of artists don't want to commit to that, you know,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's
they
also true.
or things happen. I mean, things
Yeah,
change. You know, I kind of envy, you know, these artists that did it, like Gene Colan and Gil Kane and
yeah,
Perez and John Byrne and all these, and just the inkers. You know, all the inkers,
yeah,
or the writers. I mean, they all had dedication to the
yeah, definitely.
craft, and
Yeah.
and it's kind of different in the indie scene, I guess, than the
Yeah, yeah,
mainstream.
and those artists, for example, they don't have the burden of having to promote, of having to get out there. They don't have to
Mhm.
actually, they don't have to actually put the book in the
But
grocery store.
they don't have that
Uh,
monthly deadline either.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean,
Mhm.
there's pros and cons to the whole situation. And this,
Yeah.
and
And you know, from the higher ups, it doesn't come down to Elliot. Okay, this month is going to be Gay Pride Month, and we're going to have the gay flag on every cover this month and blah blah blah, and it's like, but no, nobody wants to buy that. I mean, I had a
Yeah.
comic shop buy into all that, and I'm like, why are this is not going to age well? And sure enough, for whatever reasons, he's not in business anymore. You cannot spend money on crap that people don't want to buy.
That's
I
true.
mean, that goes against their value system, you know. um I mean,
That is very
there may
true.
be certain individuals that embrace that, maybe even buy multiple copies of it, but I'm not one of them. It just kind of, when I picked up, they relaunched Milestone Comics, with like Static and those
Yeah.
characters, Icon. You remember those maybe from the 90s? Um,
Not Static and Icon, a
they
little
were
bit.
kind of like the
Yeah, that's
black
not familiar.
creators, like
Ah, yeah,
Duffy,
yeah,
and yeah, they
yeah,
created
yeah,
black characters for a black set, and it was very popular. I think within that made a lot of African Americans comic
yeah,
book fans at that time. I think it was kind of a semi success, and they recently relaunched it. I don't know, 5 6 years ago, and
yeah.
I picked up the 5 issues. It was like $12.50 before tax, and I opened the first one, and they got Black Lives Matter protesters. And I said, I don't know what this is about, but I can watch that on the news. That's what was all in the news at the time. I don't want to read that now, much less 20 years from now.
Yeah,
It put
that's
me off.
100%.
I put all 5 books back and said, bought something else. It might have been another DC book, but it wasn't that new relaunch. You know,
That's true.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hardware, and it was Blood Syndicate. Yep. Uh,
Nice.
I just never collected because it didn't appeal to me. I thought the art was kind of substandard, but I've
Yeah,
learned,
yeah. The art recently also has the tastes or the art direction has changed a lot. Like I see art is a lot more simplistic in terms of the line art itself. I think colorists now they do more of the heavy lifting with the art than the line art does. It wasn't like
Mhm.
that back then. Back then,
Not
there were
episode
more lines,
1000.
less colors. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it was, you didn't have the batch, but now did you get into the image stuff at all?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Spawn, Youngblood was good.
What really
Cyber
impressed
Force,
me about those books was the coloring,
Darkness.
and that you had digital coloring, and DC and Marvel wasn't even doing it at the time. Plus, they had
Yeah.
the out of focus shot, the blurred, and the
Mm.
lens flare. That
Yeah,
was
that
pretty
stuff was
cool.
nice. Yeah,
Like off
it
metallic
changed a lot.
surfaces and
Yeah,
stuff like that. I like Malibu stuff too. Aaron Lopresti's Sludge, uh,
yeah.
Barry Windsor Smith's Rune. Um, did you like any of the Valiant stuff? I bought a little bit
No,
of
not
all of it.
I wasn't aware of Valiant. Like I actually no,
Okay.
no, not I wasn't aware of that stuff. I didn't learn about Aaron Lopresti until recently. I remember seeing his art. Like I
Yeah.
remember the images that he drew. I remember that associated to Wonder Woman, but I had never like actually put a face to the talent or a name to that talent. And
Yeah.
yeah, he's got amazing artwork. His artwork is amazing.
Hey, Tim. Yeah, we got a
What's
lot of
going on,
Image
Tim?
fans here. Shadowhawk was a big Image fan, although I would
Yeah,
say we're a little bit older, but I
yeah.
collected some of that
Mm,
Image stuff. And one thing that really hurt Image was the story. Of course, they needed some editors. It was all
yeah,
about the artwork. It's sad that they couldn't meet deadlines. And
yeah,
Dr. Mass was saying that some of the indie people could benefit from deadlines. Yeah, you do need to
yeah.
set hard dates and be realistic, about it and be businesslike.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
You
it's
know.
it's good to have that mentality, to say that I want to have this amount of work done by this date. That's great. That's always
Well,
great
one
to feel
writer
that.
that eventually got into comics, J. Michael Straczynski, and
Yeah,
wrote some Spider-Man and some other titles.
mm,
He wrote Babylon 5, the 5 years, most of those scripts. But I like his method. He wrote a million years in the past and a million years in the future.
mm,
In his little universe and story he
yeah,
was trying to tell, with Babylon 5 sort of sandwiched somewhere there in the middle. And he said, I did that because I knew where I had been, where my story had been, and I knew where I was going. And I
yeah,
think that's very smart,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And then he,
it's surprising like how much work has to also go into like developing your story, because your story is not like this is the character, he's fighting this guy to save this person. Like no, there's like a bunch of other things in the background, like the city. How does the city work? How do people what is the transportation like? What is the aesthetics of the building? There's so many
Mhm.
things to think about. No, it's
Well,
yeah,
if you think about it, comics are anatomy. I mean,
yeah,
anatomy of a character, but it is that environment that really grounds it.
yeah, yeah,
Superman in Metropolis, Batman in Gotham, and you got to
yeah,
depict all that stuff in an
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
way. Uh,
Yeah, like you have to think of a name, for example, like of a newspaper, who works at the newspaper, what are their issues, what do they focus
yeah.
on? Like, there's so many things to think about.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just a
you
lot.
can't. Yeah, you can't. You got to have the Lois Lanes and the Jimmy Olsens and the Perry Whites.
Yeah, yeah,
You got to have the sub characters, that might not
yeah,
even have powers. Because if you got a superhero that's super all the time, he's not very interesting. You got to have
yeah,
ordinary people in ordinary situations, like,
yeah,
oh, Aunt May's in danger. Oh no, I got to swing across the city.
yeah,
That ups the ante, right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And
that's what grounds
don't
it.
you think that your main hero is only as interesting as your villain? You got a
Yeah,
Fantastic Four is interesting in itself, although Shadowhawk doesn't like too much. But you got to have a Doctor Doom. You got to have a
yeah,
Magneto, right?
yeah. Shadowhawk doesn't like Fantastic Four.
He was never a big Fantastic Four. I,
Oh,
on the other hand, I like the Fantastic Four.
yeah, yeah, they're great.
I wish I don't have a lot of high hopes on the. I think we'll get a better Fantastic Four movie, but I don't
Yeah, I
know that
don't
it'll
like
be
the
the.
Reed Richards casting. Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, the cat. And I believe casting is 90% of it.
Yeah, it's woke
You,
casting.
I hope we get back to more merit based stuff. I
Yeah,
think.
that would be nice.
Yeah, instead of this charitable, I backed your book because you're a nice guy. I mean, okay, but
Yeah,
bring something to the game. Level up.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah,
that's the good thing about this is that no matter what strategy you take, which is figure it out as you're falling,
yeah,
or have it all done. Of course, that kind of negates
and climb up.
uh, the crowdfunding thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the necessity of it. If you're going to have the project completely 100% done before you launch it, I mean,
yeah,
the crowdfunding to me is let's raise the cash for us to produce this
yeah.
said project, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think if you're going to do that, like raise the cash and then work on the project, it's always great to be visible, to be somewhere where people can find you and not go into hiding after after you get the cash, because that sucks. No, so it's good to have an appearance on YouTube, on X. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have that. And yeah, good stuff, man.
So if besides Batman, what character would you, if they said you can do any character in the DC stable? I know you were more of a Marvel guy. Who would it be
If I
for
could draw
DC?
anyone but Batman, like draw,
Yeah, if they took Batman off the table.
uh yeah, I'd like to do Green Lantern or
Okay. A lot of
Superman.
people do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of people like Green Lantern. Now
yeah, Green
Shadowhawk
Lantern's
loves
cool.
Green Lantern.
I
Yeah.
love what EVS did with that. That was great. Y'all work
Yeah.
with that was
Well,
great.
he
Rebirth.
expanded the lore after so many years.
Yeah,
I think that franchise, if you look at every character as kind of a separate franchise within a larger
yeah,
franchise, that property, let's put it that way, that property needed some life
mm,
it needed some life blown into it, and
yeah, definitely.
expand on, don't just keep him earth based, but get him out there
Yeah.
with other aliens and interact. And I think that's kind of what he did with the Spectrum and all that.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
great. To open that universe up, there's so much potential there. No, it's good. And I mean, the power set is great. The concept is great. No, your the costume looks nice. I love the costume. It's simple but bold. No, it's good.
Elliot, how often do you stream on your
I
channel?
don't live stream. I'm trying to do more of it this year because I want people to see that I'm actually working on this thing and not
Mhm.
just talking about it.
Like draw
Um,
streams? Yeah.
Yeah, and this year so far, I've done like 3 draw streams already on 3 different projects that I've
Awesome.
been working on. And so I will, yeah. And actually, I'm going to do another draw stream next week. I think around Friday, because I'm working. I'm like halfway through the pencils of page 1 of the comic that I'm working on, and so I want to, like, when I get the pencils done, I want to start inking it live. So I'm going to do those kinds of streams, and if possible, I would like to also do like streams like this where I get to talk with other creators and interview people and get to know more about the process and um and yeah. So I want to just try to be as visible as I can, this year, especially this year, because I'm working on the pages now, so I want people to see that I'm actually doing it. Um,
Well, if you
and
keep this pace
hopefully,
up, you'll do
yeah.
like 36 live stream. That's pretty healthy. You know,
Yeah. I want to do
that,
that. I
that's
want people
over
to
a month
see.
worth
Yeah.
right there. You know,
Yeah. Because I mean, that's part of the thing, though. You have to have a presence on YouTube. You have to make sure that people know where to find you. It's always good uh, to establish a certain time slot. And I'm sorry for ruining your time slot.
no,
Uh, but
that's
um,
fine. I mean, we've
but
we've had to go early for people in Belgium,
yeah,
Germany. You know,
yeah.
it's
Thank you.
not
I
all.
appreciate it.
Um, I'm happy to do it, and I hope you'll
Yeah. Thank
consider
you.
coming on again.
Yeah.
Omer wants to know how many issues are you planning for your comic?
Yeah. I was thinking about this because my one of my first initial thoughts was I'm gonna go like Joe Ball and just do the whole thing in one go and make it, because because Joe did 300 pages, but I don't know
Oh
if
yeah,
I'll be able
yeah.
to do that.
Mhm.
And the thing that's pulling me against doing that is how much time it's going to take, and then people are not going to get anything from me for like
Profe-
6 7 years down the road. So
Professor Murph was going to do it all in one, and
yeah,
crowdfunded, but then he kind of pivoted and
yeah,
started releasing the issues that he had completed, which I think was smart. And now I
yeah,
think he's got it all completed.
yeah. That's
You
exactly
know,
right.
are
And
you
my
familiar with him and his
no, yeah,
work?
I know Professor Murph from a while back. Yeah,
I'm
he's a
trying to
great
think
guy.
of his IP. What the name
War
of it is?
Party.
War Party. Yeah, and
Yeah,
oh
great
man,
stuff.
his artwork is lovely. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he was able to get on
yeah, I do go to sleep.
the supplemental from Malin. He did a lot of great work for him also. And yeah, so I was thinking now, however, just looking at the practicality, I think I'm going to divide the story up into 4 books. Maybe it could either be either 3 or 4 books.
Hmm.
My whole thing with this is just tell this story, and what will happen after that, I have no idea. I may get tired from drawing so much that I may just, like, after that, just dedicate myself to like pinups and stuff. But I
Now,
don't know.
now, do you
I don't
work?
know.
Do you work traditional? Do you work digital?
Yeah,
Do you do both?
I do all traditional, and I do touch ups on digitally also.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you like that.
And you said you're probably doing you said you kind of started doing digital coloring. Is that
No, no,
right?
I don't. No, I don't do coloring.
You don't color. Okay.
No, because I tried it. I tried to do it, and I
I
tried to like
color,
learn
Omer.
of
I
it.
color.
Yeah,
He's so happy that I'm doing color work. I don't even want to show this one. I
yeah,
did that one last night too. But he's kind of
sweet.
a hard character to do because he hasn't got a lot of definition. I had to figure out exactly how
Yeah,
to draw a two-tone,
yeah.
maybe
So yeah, I
substance.
don't. Yeah, so I don't
You
do
know,
any coloring. I tried doing it, and I just couldn't. I just can't figure that out. I would just much rather pay a colorist and let that person do their thing. And yeah, so I just do nothing but traditional inks and on Bristol board on Strathmore comic paper, and and then I do touch ups digitally if it's needed. I try my best not to, though. I want to see. I want people to see the same image on the screen as they do on the actual traditional art.
now
I don't
you
want to
said you're
deviate too
inking
much from
more.
that.
You have plans to ink your own pencils?
Yeah. On my project, I'm going to write the story, pencil, and ink it. So I mean,
Okay.
the book is going to get done whether I fund my project or not. I'm going to continue working on it. It's going to be the only thing I draw for the next foreseeable future. And so, if anything, I'll just be able to put out like a black and white comic if I can't get the funds for it. But I don't think I will. I think I'll be able to manage. I think I will be able to get the funds, but just in case now, I always got a contingency plan. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to continue working on the comic and then offer it up black and white, and then maybe later eventually get it colored. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, you probably hire a letterer.
Yeah, I'm working with I don't if you're familiar with Paul from AGE Comics. He's the creator of the comic called Fall of Man. I hooked up with him. I saw his lettering, and I got in contact with him. And he's going to do the lettering for the comic that I'm working on. Also, I love his work. I'm a big fan. He's got a lot of potential, also to room to improve, and he's very receptive, and he's great to work with. If anybody's out there looking for a letterer, I highly recommend Paul Bird from AGE Comics. And yeah, so I'm working with him, and then Emmanuel Ordaz is doing the coloring. Emmanuel Ordaz is the person who did the colors on this avatar that you see on screen. And so what the image that you see on my avatar is the artwork that you should expect in my book. So if you like what you see on this avatar, then
quickly tell
check it
us
out.
about this character and a little brief
Yeah,
synopsis about what the book is going to be about.
yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can share. Uh, if I can share my screen.
You can indeed.
Yeah, this is my character. His name is Zadok, pronounced Zadok, and he's an
Oh,
18-year-old kid.
I think I saw him on the Herculoids. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
he's an 18-year-old farmer from a village. The name of the village is Daphlon,
Planting
and
the seeds of your doom.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, he's turning 18. He's celebrating. He's going out to run an errand for his father, and on the way there, things happened that forced Zadok to participate to become involved in this fight to save the kingdom where he lives.
Is this kind of
This
like a coming of age type
Yes.
story? Okay.
Yes, it's a coming of age story. This character is the reluctant hero. He doesn't want to be a hero. He's got other ambitions, other dreams and goals, but he sees that in this situation, he's got no other choice but to participate and help out. And along the way, he learns the what it means to he learns about respect, honor, responsibility, and that's the theme. To learn to accept your role, because sometimes we're given roles, and sometimes we're like reluctant to do it because we fear for failure and things like this. And no, I can't do this. I'm not the right person for this. No, so he's going to go through those kinds of issues in the story, and yeah, he's going to have to man up. He's going to have to man up and save his country, and he's going to take on a lot of different threats. If I can picture here, you're looking on the screen. This guy here with
Oh wow,
with the powers. This is the main villain. His name is Necronox. He's the main villain. He's a sorcerer, and he's going to put Zadok. He's going to test him to his limits. He's a powerful sorcerer. And
I see
yeah,
some Jack Kirby crackle there and some Spawn energy. I know you. I know. Do you like Jack Kirby?
Heck yeah. Jack Kirby's the man. Yeah, and this is the Spawn energy is exactly what I got. Like that's the whole vibe I'm going for.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's a sorcerer. He's gonna use his magic and sorcery powers to like wreak havoc to the kingdom where Zadok lives, and so it's up to Zadok and his friends to bring peace to the kingdom. And that's what the story is about in a nutshell. There's a lot of threats along the way. You got this big guy here.
Yeah,
his name is Deathmonger, and
he was
he's a villain, and he was created by the sorcerer. The sorcerer creates this big monster guy.
Okay, so he's kind of like an underling.
Exactly,
a badass underling. Okay,
yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
all he does
with all these horns, he's got like, especially on his elbows, I kind of get a doomsday feel.
Yeah. That's exactly what the vibe I was going for. Yeah, So yeah, and similar to Doomsday, like the bone thing can get more intense. It can take different forms. It can adjust. And so I'm going to mess with all that kind of stuff in the book. So yeah, so he's a minion, and all this guy has in his head is do what my master says. So destroy Zadok, and so that's his mission in life, and so he's going to destroy everything. Bring about death, and yeah, so that's the story in a nutshell. Here's the first page for this 10-page preview, And this isn't actually happening in my story. This is just I thought no, because when I first revealed Deathmonger, I got such great feedback from him that I thought I have to do something with the character because everybody loves him, and so I
Yeah.
thought it would be great if I could just like
He
put
looks
these
like
two.
the Marvel UK Death Head a little bit character.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah, a little
little
bit,
bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah, and so yeah, so I thought it'd be great to see these two characters fight, and just for the heck of it, just for the sake of fighting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an indie creator, I can do whatever I want, so I just put these guys, to fight each other, and I did
Mhm.
the 10 page of them fighting. It's got nothing to do with the story of the main story of my comic, but I thought it was fun to see that
Yeah.
and to get to draw this, and so that's what this preview is. And this is what no, these are the first 2 pages, and
We were talking the other day in a discussion that you rarely see contact being made when landing a punch. It's usually the moment after, the
yeah,
after effect, or maybe leading up to, but never the actual contact, hardly.
yeah, yeah, and how to learn and how to draw comics the Marvel way. Yeah, they Buscema, they say that, like you see that, like when you cock back right, you about to a punch, like here, and then the other frame is like right after that. So yeah, so usually
Yeah.
you don't get to see that contact. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
skip that, but I remember in Death of Superman, like he lifted Superman off the ground to
Yeah,
with
yeah,
some of his punches. That's ground and pound. Why the title ominous? Omer wants to know,
yeah. I just thought it's
which is a cool name.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's a little the well the simple explanation is that it's ominous because all of the events that happen in this story in this whole issue happen in a different planet. It doesn't happen on Earth, it happens on another planet, and
Okay.
that planet is called Amina, Omina, Amina.
Hmm.
And so I thought this is like a good way to say, like, this is an ominous story because it's from the planet Amin, I'm sorry. And so that's the simple definition. No, but also I wanted to play with the word omni and omni, like omniscient or omnipotent. It means everything. It encapsulates everything. And so why everything? Because in my comic, I'm gonna try to include everything. Fantasy, superheroes, powers. Try to play with all kinds of visuals, and yeah, I'm just packing everything in there. So that's one. That's a more complicated definition for it. No, but
People often lose track of time because they enjoy being on this show. Hopefully,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah. I was just
giving
gonna
you
say
warning
something.
that we are
Yeah, yeah,
over your mark.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Actually, if yeah, I'd have to go in a little bit, but
yeah.
but yeah. So that's the reason for ominous, and like Rex says, it sounds cool. I thought it sounded cool, and just to deviate it from the actual word, I took the O out, the second O, and
Hmm.
ominous,
Hmm.
give it a more Latin feel to it.
That also you can copyright that.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Now,
true.
I asked you about DC. If you could, uh, if you could do just my last question, if you could do
Yeah.
one Marvel character, what would it be?
Oh, I would love to draw
But
Spider Man. Yeah.
besides Spider Man,
Besides Spider Man,
hmm,
besides Spider Man,
I make you think.
trying to think. Yeah, because I could say X Men, but I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean that's
but
different, right?
X
Group
Men,
as
yeah,
opposed to a single character.
yeah. No, I would
Yeah.
like to do like a single character story.
Well, see, you said
Maybe
You said
Thor,
right off the
maybe
bat
Thor,
with
or Captain
DC, but
America.
Marvel, you're like, I don't know,
Yeah,
Deadpool.
yeah,
There's a lot of great characters.
yeah. I think I would like to do a Thor comic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think Thor would be
Walt
nice.
Simonson, Elliot
Yeah, yeah.
Rodriguez.
Oh man, that would be insane.
Elliot,
That would be
thank you for
insane.
coming on. Thank
No,
you.
thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
hope you'll endeavor to set something up with me uh,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
in
would
the
love to have you on
future.
the show also, so I get to talk to you about Devil Flyer. I would like to get to know more about that, and yeah, definitely like love to have you on the show.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. I'd love the cross pollination of going over to other
Yeah, yeah,
channels
yeah,
and stuff and discussing comics. And it's always kind of been niche, but I didn't know it. To me, that was
yeah,
my life. It helped me make me a reader, and I think I needed that visual stimulus. to
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I understand. I
besides
completely understand.
besides the words. But your imagination is the best thing. I think that's what's lacking today is everybody's groupthink. They don't use their imagination.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You have to. I mean, we're indie creators. We can create literally anything you want to create. Like anything that
Anything.
just pops in the head, you can
Yeah.
create. So do it. Do it. Go out there.
Homer says
And
Wolverine, bub.
yeah, that would be great too. That would be great too. That would be a tough act to follow, though. Man, you got a lot of great artists have done that book.
Oh,
Frank
absolutely.
Miller,
Yeah. Yeah.
Silvestri, there's so much. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you,
Thank you
sir,
for
for
the
coming
questions.
on. I appreciate you being on. I hope you can come back soon.
Yeah,
Any
definitely.
ideal? Are you launching this sometime this year? You think?
No, I haven't. I don't have a date yet because there's a few things in the background that I want to do.
Okay.
For example, this I did a digital story,
Hey, Fanta.
and I put, and for the people that have already like read it and backed it, there's certain things to the story that they didn't like. For example, at the top left, I got this black
Oh,
and
okay.
gray caption box, and people were saying that's a little bit
Ooh.
difficult to read, and I could,
Lighten up the gray a little bit. I think it'd be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and there's little things like that that
I've
were
seen it worse.
mentioned.
I've seen it worse. You know.
Yeah, and there's little things that people have mentioned since they've been reading the book, and so I want to make those changes, and so
Oh,
I want to.
you know who the sword reminds me of? Magic. She had a big sword.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
And
yeah,
Evangeline from Marvel. She had a
yeah,
big
definitely,
yeah.
yeah, they have, yeah,
But
definitely.
Magic had the biggest over the top sword.
Yeah, I love it. I dig it. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan.
Yeah. It's looking good, bro. I mean,
Thank you.
and I liked your characters and I guess when it comes to characters are these I mean, I guess you have a combination of old and new. You said you redesigned everything.
Yeah, like all these characters right now, there were characters that I created back then. I just redrew them, updated
Hmm.
their look.
Yeah.
I have one new character, or I have several characters that I'm going to introduce in the second book, but that'll be like years down the road. No, but yeah. So these characters were it's the intention of like just upgrading the stuff that I had before to fit this new scene now, and then the next batch of characters that I'm going to introduce are strictly not to get people hooked and hyped because I got a lot of interesting designs that I want to show
Hmm.
people when the time comes.
Well, this is my advice, and
Yeah,
take it for what it's worth. The
yeah,
art will
definitely,
grab you, but the story will keep you.
yeah, definitely, yeah,
We need to be storytellers. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
people
definitely,
want a good story. They
yeah,
want
definitely, definitely,
escapism, right?
yeah, definitely, yeah. No,
They want
and I,
fun. You know the word
yeah,
fun.
yeah, definitely.
We've forgotten how to have fun. I think,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You know,
especially.
and I agree. I went ahead and got an editor and make sure that the story made
Mhm.
sense at least. No,
Oh, I hate that we're
yeah,
settling for less than best,
yeah,
Elliot, when it
yeah,
comes it was all, like Fantastic Four. I want them to get that right. I want a good I think when it came to Marvel in the early steps, Fantastic Four wasn't done right and the Hulk wasn't done right. I
yeah,
did
for
like
sure.
all the movies they did, except for that Fantastic Four where they had a black Johnny Storm. That was pitiful. But
Yeah, I hear
even
you.
I bought that, because I like the Fantastic Four enough, but it just I hate it when they change characters up so
Yeah, that's
totally,
horrible.
or
Yeah,
gender swap. Why not
yeah,
just create a brand new character at that point?
yeah. That's what they should do. No?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah. I'm sorry, Rex. I really have to get going.
no problem, no
Sorry
problem.
to cut it short. And
That's
thank you to
fine.
everybody in the chat for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys want to keep up to date on everything, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm posting content regularly, and then yeah, check me out.
Links down in the description, folks,
Yeah,
and I
thank
can
you.
post them again if you want to know where to find Elliot. He does
I
have a
appreciate it.
YouTube, Twitter. He's on Twitter. Where else can they find you?
On Instagram, also
On
Instagram,
Instagram. Okay.
Twitter, and YouTube. And hail to Tim, Fansa. What's going on, Fansa? Omer. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, there you go. Elliot Rodriguez, just a few uh, final thoughts here. Very cool. And yeah, I'll give you a look at Cortex here. This is going to be one of the trading cards I've kind of been going through, you know, what you know, characters I want to build upon. Of course, that kind of makes sense because he's going to be in the Bog supplement. I would I may do momentum uh character cards that are like flip cards, you know, that have one character on one side and another character on the other side, just so that you get 9 cards in the set, but you have a front and back with which I won't give you stats or powers or all like that. And I think at this time it's kind of premature. I just want you to see some of these characters and have some early merch, you know, other than a comic with their image on it. And trading cards is a good way to do that. And instead of getting 9 characters, you get 18 characters, you know, different characters. Or, you know, maybe a couple images like I have, you know, we're going to use Omer Glitches, Midnight for one of those cards. And then on the flip side, we might do a Tank Ferret or a George Peter Gaddis Midnight, you know. I don't know. I'm in the process of selecting that. I do have uh, artwork from Ryan James, and you know, I could, with all the artwork I've done of my characters just on the head sketches, you know, I could come up with uh, all that myself. But I want a good mixture for people, you know, of artwork um, when it comes to the trading card set. Um, and you know, be something that really somebody wants to, you know, the color looks awesome. Yeah, I wish the color looked more on spot, you know, because it kind of turns some of these magentas or reds kind of purple on my, and I don't know why that is. My camera always seems to do that, but yeah, he turned out pretty good. He'll do. I think he, you know, and then we'll just somewhere where it's non-intrusive, we'll put Cortex, and then on the opposite side, we'll have another character. You know, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And it's like, well, what art do I have available? And you know, I would love to do a bog. You know, I've done lots of bogs. I've done lots of geos and lots of zeitgeist and different stuff like that. Uh, and I'm selecting. You know, if I've only got 9, I'm kind of limited. Trying to work with some of the women in there. You know, like Lady Hopper and Midnight and who else did I have on there? You know, for female characters. So trying to work some of the female characters in on the set. Maybe I'll draw Fanta's character, you know, and stick it on there, you know, Dark Angel. I don't know yet. You know, we could definitely put John Dillard's Destiny character on there, bystander on a card, you know, by John, because he's done like uh 11 or 12 for me. You know, he's done a couple of not Destiny, but the Seer, um, the female cloak figure with the stars in her face and around her in the shadows and her trail of stars. And um, yeah, um, this show should gain you some watch hours. Good conversation with Elliot. Well, that's what we strive for. Mike Walters in the house. Thank you for liking, dropping, uh, and sharing out. That really helps because I don't always promote, and take the time to do that as much as I probably should. Yeah, he was a great guest, and it sounds like he'd go. That's Tank Ferret. That sounds cool. Yeah. Do you know Tank Ferret? Yeah, Tank Ferret he's going to be doing the back cover artwork. He's working on some stuff for me right now. How about Devil Flyer, Dead Ninja, Storm Rider, Midnight, and Bystander? Um, yeah, I mean, I've got some Devil Flyers artwork that we can use. And I started out doing some very, smaller, head to toe stuff, and even had some of it colored. Dead Ninja's one of them. Storm Rider, I've done a couple nice headshots of him. So that's a possibility. Midnight, definitely. Of course, Midnight and the Roustabouts I'm working on now. Bystander, yeah. Um, yeah, I know you like Dead Ninja, and Storm Rider's nice too. But I don't want them all to be headshots, and they won't be. I thought about using the Ryan James cover for the wraparound cover artwork for number 6, but just show you the pencil work because I do have the pencil work. It's the same thing with George Peter Gaddis. I've got the pencil work to at least the modern day Mummy. Don't have the pencil work on Midnight. Well, yes, I do. I've got the ink work on that of the Midnight. But that's already being made into a trading card. So I had to scratch that off. I thought, no, that was our last stretch goal. Um, Dead Ninja is very intriguing. Yeah. Oh, I've got a great, very short story for Dead Ninja. How he becomes Dead Ninja, takes basically avenging his sensei who's been killed, and he has a dog, kind of like the Phantom has a wolf. He has a dog that is guarding the grave of his sensei, and he basically takes his sword, visits the grave, and takes the dog follows him, and he takes his sword, and he becomes Dead Ninja. Nice little short story. Um, you know, if done right, it needs a good artist on it, and we're not there yet. You have to take these things in order. But yeah, we've got some great things planned. Uh, not only for the channel. And yes, Omer, I do look tired because I am tired. I did not want to miss this interview, and this was early. And yes, I had the draw stream last night with Topiclist, stayed after, and then stayed up like I usually do and watched some Daniel Boone, which is sort of in the frontier with you know uh, Western type thing, because I'm all about the Westerns right now. Um, I can imagine a Paul Galassi style art on Dead Ninja. Yeah, not hard to think about that because he did so many Shang-Chi's. But that stuff never grabbed me during the Kung Fu, early 70s, mid 70s Kung Fu type thing. I did like White Tiger, you know, uh, pretty neat character. Storytelling, layouts, and action. Yeah, but can't get Paul Glacy, and he's never been one of my favorites. Sorry, you know. Uh, he's good. He is good, and he's one of those that I've had to circle back. But I would rather. I cannot think of any artist that I've liked and then kind of went soft on later. It's been the opposite. It's been like, I don't know that I like Kirby or Ditko or this or that, or Infantino or Gil Kane that much. But that was their later stuff I was seeing. Sometimes their earlier stuff is better. Sometimes their later stuff. Sometimes some get better and some artists get worse over time. So it's give and take type thing. But I've come around to appreciate all of them, even in Galassi. But there's certain ones like you might really love, like uh, that I just never much cared for. I can appreciate their work, but I would rather get an artist that I liked back in the day that just grabbed me by the throat, like Perez. And like I said, I liked his earlier stuff and sort of his mid stuff more than just this is his later stuff. I like his later stuff too, but it's more formulaic, refined. He's all right. I found how I draw, and that doesn't mean his layouts weren't, even more complex than earlier on. But I kind of like. I think the Joe Kubert school, like he just indicated a foot. He'd draw the foot, but he wouldn't put much detail on his feet, like when he did Tarzan or other characters. Why? Because he's like, the mind has something to fill in. Everybody knows what a foot looks like, and you don't have to go in great detail on it. Now, that's his mindset. I agree with that to a certain degree. You should leave something for the imagination, you know, um, and your mind to fill in the blanks. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you have, using your mind. Hell, Rex, we ain't got no quit. We ain't got no quit. Yeah. Right on, I wouldn't miss a chance to hang out with Elliot. Yeah. Perez, Byrne, Cochran, Neil Adams. Gilkay and Steranko. Out of all that, Byrne and Steranko are alive. All the rest are dead, and Steranko's up there, and so is John Byrne. Impotent, when you go soft, an artist that keeps you hard. What in the world are we talking about? I don't know, Omer. You turn everything towards that. You are worse than Carrie. Oh my gosh. Anyway, um, keep collecting. We'll see you on our 1,000th episode, hopefully, for the 4 o'clock shadow. Looking forward to it. A bevy of guests. Um, I only have so many slots, 6 slots, so we may have to rotate some people out. We may not, so if you don't get a, uh, I'm waiting, kind of waiting. I'll start off with High and Shadow, and if somebody drops in, we'll see how it fills up. But I'll still be sending out some more links too. If you don't get a link immediately, don't worry. It's it may be coming. Just let me get the show started and going, and then in a direction, see who shows up. I know um, we have the creator Chrome Dog coming on. He should be coming on. When he shows up, I don't know. Probably when we start. He's usually pretty prompt, but I don't know what his schedule's like. He doesn't stream anymore. There's a lot of people that have opted out. But yeah, our 1,000th episode on the 4 o'clock shadow, and then we go into brand new territory tomorrow with 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. On to our next 1,000. It only took us over 3 years to do it. Well, maybe I'll make up those 17 days off, and we'll do it even faster this time. It happens a lot quicker than what you think. But it does take an effort, takes a commitment. And as committed as I am to the 4 o'clock shadow, which has been single guy or not, you still have to schedule your work, your life around other relationships around the show. It is a commitment. And I am committed not only to this channel and show and doing interviews like with Elliot that are interesting for you to watch, but also and showing you brand new artwork as it comes in, because that's part of my joy of doing that. But also, know that I'm committed to giving you the best in comics that I can give you. Hiring artists, and hopefully, Jay Krager will be done with the 2-page spread today, and I'll get to show you the finished thing today on the 4 o'clock shadow, the 2-page midnight spread. I showed you yesterday a couple of preliminary ones, and he should have the horse in there and his signature elsewhere, and things switched around like there were before on the earlier draft. And yeah, next 500 subs to get. Wait until 2001 episode. Yeah, I can't wait. But I'm struggling at 811 subs. Why are you struggling? Climb a bit by bit to reach 1K. You only have to give 500 to be monetized. If you're not monetized by now, you should be, Apex. You got to get those watch hours and those 3 video shorts, and you should have it. So I don't know if you're monetized or not. I take it you're not. So you got to get those watch hours. I've got more than enough watch hours. If I could give some away, I would. But I can't do that. So, and you can lose them over time too if you start not streaming as much. Last time I looked, let me see. We're back up to 457. So, we dipped down there, down to, I think back down to 455 or 456, something like that. But we're back up, I think 455. But we're back up there now. Katie might be one of those on Agent Zero, like I said. There's a few others. Hopefully Phantasmagorical will be on Fanta, the ever loving Fanta. Watch hours are challenging. I need to make more shorts. Well, to get monetized, you have to have 3, only 3 in the last 90 days. Watch hours are, wait a minute. Good show, Rex. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'll see you later today on the 4 o'clock shadow. Um, Trying to help Rex to get to 500 so he can get monetized. Yes, it would help this channel, and the production of my book, because every dime I earn from a super chat or something like that, or a donation, it'll go into getting my book out. And uh, but we have a I'm gonna say it, Shadowhawk. Don't let it trigger you or you either, Omer. A hard date, March 8th, 3 Central. I believe that's right before the 4 o'clock shadow. So we'll do an hour over there at Shay's on a kind of relaunch. I'm calling it a momentum makeover of the campaign. We'll have the Jimmy Reyes cover finished by then. I am going to have to raise some money for the coloring of the book. The of the cover. You know, I want John Dillard to do the coloring of that. So, and I don't know what he's going to charge me. I haven't asked him yet, but I need to raise some money for that, and we will. Jay Krieger's got a couple more pages, 2 or 3 more to do for me. So, um, yeah, see you at 4, buddy. Have a good day at work. Be safe getting home. Stay warm, everybody. It's blistery cold here, although it's sunny and bright. I'm probably going to take a nap because we got a big day ahead of us. I got my big stein. You'll get to see my stein that I had in still have that thing. Um, Not really safe to drink out of. They say that's why I stopped drinking out of it. Cleaned it up last night or early this morning. I'm working today, so I will occasionally be in the chat. Okay, Apex, thanks for letting me know. Sweet. So that's at 3 on Red Valkyrie. Let me confirm that. Let me just go over here and see her correspondence with me and make sure I'm remembering right, Omer. But it will be October 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern, which makes it 3 for me. Yeah, because they're on Eastern time. So 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 my time, and then that gives me time. Fortunately, it's not 4 because that's our show. But if we had to do the show over there and call it the 4 o'clock shadow, I don't know if they go for that. But yeah, I have a big stein. So I might go in there right now, get some wine and chill it, and we just have a celebration day and talk to some people we hadn't talked to in a while, like Agent Zero. Looking forward to talking to him. You can thank him for a lot of the success thus far of the book of Devil Flyer, because he did my campaign. He's an admin there, but he's backed away from a lot of the streaming and stuff, and we'll find out the latest news on where the latest on Chrome Dog, what's going to go on, and have other guests on, and we'll just see how it meshes and how it goes out. How it chills out. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Try and get some rest in the meantime, and I'll see you back here at 4. Bow for now. Keep collecting. Thank you, Elliot, again for coming on. Sounds like he may be up to coming on in the future, so that'd be cool. I always say if we can get them on and hook them, they'll be back. October 8th would be my mom's birthday. Apex says, "Oh, great, that's awesome. Happy early birthday to Apex's mother." I think we talked about that was the day after Shadowhawks. So your mother's birthday is really close to Shadowhawks, and I know Elsie's. October 8th would be my Mother's Day. I misread that. October 8th. Okay. Okay. How we went from March 8th to October. Okay. Sure. Okay. Well, I'll mark that down on my calendar. I think she'll be 93, won't she? Anyway, you can answer in the chat. See you later.